Welcome, welcome, welcome to Big Perspective Podcast. I'm your girl, Lady J.
Big Chi.
Chad Sampson.
In today's episode, we are recapping and breaking down the Arts Council event, True to Yourself, with Meagan Good and DeVon Franklin. We all attended the event. It was a wonderful event, and we're going to give you our perspective on what you missed and what we learned and what we took away from the event and how you should definitely attend next year.
Exactly.
All right, Big T, you had some good stuff. You got to interview Meagan. Looked so good, huh?
It was my birthday, so I got to do it.
Oh,
It
Lord.
was my birthday.
And I'm going to tell y'all, he was shaking like booty meat once he was done. I said, I'm done with you.
Let me tell you something. When you get in front of them celebrities, you're calm and you're cool.
Yeah.
But after the fact, the real fan, the little boy in you that remember her from Biker Boys and all that starts coming out. So I give it that. I was shaking bad. I ain't even drunk.
You drunk my whole soda.
I drank
I
all
said,
that
what in the
sodas.
world?
But
His
it's
sugar was
cool,
low,
though.
y'all.
But
His sugar was low. He was about to pass out.
I'm going to be honest with you. They were mad cool.
They are.
They were
humble.
really good
They
people.
were really humble.
And I'm going to tell you, I got a very different perspective from Meagan Good. Like, I really like her as a genuine, like, as a person. Like,
what did you get from her?
Well, I mean, I would think of her like a homegirl now. You see her on TV and you say, oh, well, she's cute and, she speaks well. But just learning, like, more personal aspects of her life, like, that really attracted me to her a little bit more.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I was talking with my buddy Jermaine, your husband, and we were sitting back relaxing, and I said, I think that this whole story is a sham. I mean, think about it, right? You have an actress and a pastor. Both are wonderful storytellers, right? Wonderful enough to where they can actually get people to buy into their message. So I thought it was BS. And then as I started hearing their story, and I felt how genuine the message came across, I said, it still may be some bullshit, but I'm actually buying into it. So it was a good message.
It was good.
I mean, like, in backstage, they were just as, because, the stage is different than backstage.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, like, when they go backstage, that's when they turn into the monsters. But with them, like, the way they interacted with people, it was like, they were real people.
From
like,
around the way.
So, like,
exactly.
Pastor Thompson from Simon Temple was the moderator. He wanted to meet before they got on, which I was like, well, they should have did it before, but it ain't my show. So when they met, they were so receptive of what he was giving them, and they just kind of it was just like a beautiful moment to see somebody of that caliber to be on that level.
It was. So let's unpack a few things that they discussed. So for those that are not familiar with Meagan Good and DeVon Franklin's story, they wrote a book about the wait, where they waited to have sex until they were married. Now, the human mind normally goes, well, you date, what is that, years, some months? Yeah. But one thing that they did point out to me that I found interesting was that their whole journey from dating to marriage was about 10 months. Yes. So, I mean, that's not a long wait.
That the wait was not long.
The wait wasn't long, not to me. I've went years without having sex.
I feel like that depends on the person.
It does.
Because if you got like a sex problem, maybe a month or a week or a day is
I'm going to tell you where I thought it would be long, though, because now you're connecting with this person and you're attracted to them and you want to be with them. So it doesn't matter if it's 30 days, 9 months, 10 months, 6 months. I'd still think that's very difficult to not be able to physically connect with that person when you know that this is the person you want to be with. But one thing they did say is that I really want to get you guys' perspective on is DeVon said that sex clouds your judgment. And so when you remove that out of the equation and you truly get to know that person, you can ask yourself, is that who you want to be with? And he said that was something that was affirmation for him, that he was able to identify.
I think that's true. And so this event touched so much to where I actually want to practice celibacy for a little while, at least,
Child.
for a little while. So
I'm gonna go on and encourage it, but I don't
Nobody believes it.
I'm going to be sold. Okay, I'm going to be sold.
I'm not going to sit here and
during business hours. Okay, I'm going to be a weekend hoe.
Oh my God, pray for him.
No, seriously. So,
seriously,
I'm gonna tell you a story. Right, I was dating this girl, and we were dating for about a year, and I said, once you remove the sex from us, I don't know why I like you.
That's important.
I'm dead serious. This is what I told her. I said, I think we should go without sex for a little while. We went without sex for about a week, and things went chaotic. There was nothing that held us together. So I agree with that, and that's why I do think that being celibate, because I'm single, you're single, you're married, you're the lucky one here. You've already found your plus one.
Yes, I have.
So on that journey of finding someone, it's so difficult to really make that true connection, because the first thing we think, at least for me, I'm thinking, hey, she looks good, blah, blah, blah. We do our thing. And then next it's like, what's our real foundation?
Yeah.
Now, me and Chaz on two ends of spectrum.
Yes, you are.
As you know that.
Because you are going to tell the people.
Because I am. I'm celibate.
Hey, look at that. And I gave him a hard time because I didn't understand.
And Jermaine, her husband, that's not a choice. Ain't nobody that wants you. I will show him DM.
I'm on Jermaine's side.
Where the celibacy works.
Because when women hear that.
He is wrong for saying that.
I'm going to give Jermaine straight up said it.
Some people like a teddy bear. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
See, he think that we not in, but wintertime is going on.
I'm done.
We live in the South, man.
Let me tell you something.
It's spring and summer, bro.
I'm going to tell you, listen.
Y'all going to put my husband on blast, too. I'm just
that,
letting y'all know right now.
I was like, so I thought back, I went back, and I looked through my DMs. I said, this joker don't know what he talking about. Boy, I'm sexy. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Anyway, but coming from this side of the spectrum, my relationship, with God is a little different. Everybody's spiritual relationship and walk is different. So for me, I wanted more. I'm ready to be married. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I didn't read the book to say I'm going to practice it, because I was already in the practice. So I was like, well, does it? It does, because when you at 2:00 in the morning and you hot and bothered, you go hit up that mulligan or that
not the mulligan.
I call
Lord
them
knows everyone is guilty of that.
Them the ones that you can hit up at 2:00 and 3:00 in the morning. They down. You can hit them up and they be like, yeah, come on through. If that's a judgment call on putting yourself in bed with somebody, which could lead to more life decisions, because at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you may not be conscious enough to put on protection.
Something
you may
wrong.
not be conscious
That's very true.
To make sure
it
you
happens.
Always gotta be conscious.
It happens more than you think. There is a
know.
lot of men out there, and women, who will go ahead and go with somebody and will not and forego protection just because they're in the heat of the moment.
That makes no sense to me. Like, that makes no sense at all.
Them evening ones, I'm pretty sure he done forgot a time or two.
But listen, what I'm saying though, it doesn't make any sense. That's why it's a loss of judgment, because judgment allows you to think logically. But when you're hot and bothered, it's 2:00 in the morning, all you thinking is, let me get this and be done with it. But that could be a child you're bringing into this world. That could be STDs that you now have to live with. And there's not just STDs. People don't be taking baths like they're supposed to. Scabies and all types of stuff.
Yeah,
well, let's just bring it back. So I kind of related to Meagan just because, I personally me and my husband did not wait until marriage to engage in sexual activity. However, I connected with her because we really founded a friendship. And my husband came into my life in the midst of a very turmoil event in my life. I was getting out of a very bad relationship, and he was my friend first before we became sexually involved, and we built that foundation. So one thing that I really took away from them is that you have to really know who you're getting in bed with.
Exactly.
And it's super important.
I think that's a very good point. I think you make a good point of being friends first, and of course, being friends. We want to thank our friends here at the Arts Council. We also want to shout them out. The Arts Council, they bring wonderful cultural and perspective here to the community of Fayetteville. So shout out to the Arts Council.
Shout out to the Arts Council.
Go on. Names. Unique, Weber,
Matoya.
Webster. My bad, Unique.
Oh, Lord.
I don't call her last name all the time.
I think we get Greg and
we
Unique's
have
last
Greg.
name confused.
But go ahead and get the tagline. What is the Arts Council's tag?
Well, their job is to bring art and culture to the city of Fayetteville.
Okay, that's
really
important.
Their main point, because I believe without art and arts encompass a lot of things: music, painting, art.
Absolutely.
Without that, what is life?
Well, art is the one thing that universally connects everyone together, whether it's art, through music, through painting, through photography, through videography. Art connects everyone, and it's a universal language that everyone loves it. So thank you to the Arts Council, because you guys brought on an amazing event, and I really, really enjoyed it.
Yes.
So
You know what's so funny though? Speaking of the Arts Council, I learned something very new. There's two different perspectives. There's the Arts Center, which is 301 Hay Street in Fayetteville, North Carolina,
yeah.
And then there's the Arts Council,
which is
and a lot of people
they don't know the difference.
A lot of people get it mixed up.
The center is the building,
exactly,
and the Arts Council is the
people that work
that runs the
center. Okay,
isn't it crazy?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know that. So
Bob
hey,
told us that.
Bob told us that.
All right, so. what's another thing that DeVon spoke about? Because I'm gonna tell you guys, he is a very engaging and motivational person.
absolutely.
He really is a
I
pastor.
really was engaged with everything he was saying.
Absolutely.
My husband and I took a few notes, and we're gonna apply that to our relationship and our lives as well. What is something that you took away that he said?
There was one thing he said about dating God's daughters and leaving them in the waste when you're dating. You know what I'm saying?
Because he said something real powerful.
That thing was, he said he had a dream where he was walking to get married, and when he got up to unveil the woman, he looked back, and there was all the women he dated, and they were slain. He was
across
like,
the chest.
Across the chest. So he was like, during his dating journey, he has just tossed them and split their hearts and broke their hearts just to get to the woman he was supposed to marry. And it just said to me, dating for a purpose and not just dating just because you're lonely. And you're just, because people, when you date, there should be not a promise, but people see the future with this person. So if you're giving them
you should be working towards something.
You should be. But if you're giving them the trips, you're giving them the dinner, and then next thing you know, oh, this ain't going to work.
Right.
You don't know where you're leaving them.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, and he hinted to it a little bit on how a lot of men, when they date, they kind of sell the dream to the female. Would y'all disagree?
I think that's what you're supposed to do.
I understand that, but then they go crazy. No, but when you're selling the dream and you're not being very authentic, because a lot of men, when they're selling the dream, they're not very honest. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not saying 100%. That has just been my experience. Maybe a few of my girlfriends can all testify that they will sell the dream and the actions doesn't match the words.
It's the ending. I believe it's the ending of the dream.
Not necessarily true.
Because if we're dating, I'm just trying to figure out, can I live with your flaws? Do I like the talent that you're bringing? Do I like your dreams? Do your dreams align with mine? And then when I find out that the dreams don't, that don't mean I'm supposed to just
No. But you know what he said? He said it wasn't just one person that he was dating. He was dating. He had one on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's where the dream gets messed up. You have to be able to tell the person you're dating that you're dating other people.
That's what you mean.
I don't think you should disclose that.
It's very important, because if you're selling the dream and you're making me think that I'm the only one that you're trying to build something with, but not. In actuality, you're building it with 4 other women. Then I see you out, and now I'm crazy.
Now, from that
no, sir.
From that standpoint, yes. If you are selling a dream to the point where you're saying, okay, you're the only woman, you're the only one. That's not selling a dream. That's called lying. That's
exactly.
That's lying.
That's not selling a dream.
But I think in this world of dating, especially in our age bracket, you should have multiple options to choose from, and then ultimately choose one and stick with it. That's what
there's nothing wrong with that, but are you guys disclosing this information?
Because
a lot of women, if
women don't disclose the information.
Women don't. I don't know. I've been out the dating game for a while, but I will tell you, if women are casually dating, they put that on the table. I am casually dating.
Nah, hell no.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
Maybe I'm wrong. Ladies, are y'all not being honest out there? Let me find out.
These women nowadays, because you've been out of the game for too long. Let me tell you how the game works nowadays.
Oh Lord. Okay,
these women nowadays, they would go on a date with you on Monday, and then Monday afternoon they'd be on a date with someone else, and then Tuesday someone else, and then that actually pays for their dining expense for the whole month.
They got food.
And then I'm gonna tell you what's
but
like.
But what's dating now? Because I don't understand.
Okay.
So if I go out to dinner with you, is that really a date?
A date. That's a date.
If
I pay for it, yes, it's a date.
Okay, if you pay for it, I will give you that.
If I say to you, hey, what you doing Wednesday? And you say, I'm not doing nothing. Do you want to go to dinner? And we go to dinner and I pay for it, that was a date.
That's in the books.
Now, dating, there's many levels to that, because, you know, you got talking to, courting, you got we just courting.
Yeah.
So to me, courting is a little deeper than dating. Because to me, I think courting should just be to one person.
I agree.
Okay.
Dating is very frivolous.
Well, hold on,
but dating means I'm looking around, looking for that one that I'm going to take to mama.
Okay.
So to get into the court and then take to mama. So
wait, we're going off on a tangent. Let's make sure we bring it, circle it back. So we're going back to what DeVon said about how he was dating multiple women at different times. But he did say he had a revelation that he was hurting a lot of these women. Right. And as God told him, was it worth treating all my daughters this way to get to where you are?
I mean,
so that's a really good question.
I think that hit on both sides. I think
it does.
As guys, we looked at it like, who have we hurt on our path to finding our ride or die? then
And not
it's
to
like
bash
the-
you, because women do it too.
because
so
I
we're
feel
not
like a
going
lot of,
to.
I mean, y'all do. Y'all some hurt from women.
I think honestly,
so.
I think
we give.
both-
I think we give what we give in the
I
energy.
think both
honestly.
sexes hurt each other, and the reason why is because one party had an expectation of something that wasn't met, and it probably wasn't communicated. That's why the hurt is there.
Yeah.
That wasn't
Absolutely.
communicated.
Yeah.
More importantly, from what he's, and there's two things I took away from it. One, I have 2 daughters. So once I had my first daughter, it really changed my player mentalities, and that's when I was like,
I don't
21.
know about
I don't know
that.
about
Now.
That's what I was
Hold
telling
on
you.
now.
I don't
Come
know.
on
Chaz,
now.
I used to
we
be-
know
I
that.
used to be-
Chaz up here
I used to-
lying.
I used to be horrible.
Don't make me.
Especially when I was in the military. When I was in the military, I used to be horrible.
Chaz,
Like,
Chaz,
horrible.
Yeah,
Don't
if
even bring the
that- I don't
military
even
into
know
this. The
what the
military ain't
whole-
got nothing to do with
Yeah,
it.
they-
Okay.
that's
Well, I said when I
The
was in
military is a bunch of whores.
Excuse you? Oh, I mean, I don't know
I
about
know
that.
too many.
But
I
I
just
took-
think men in general, when you guys have a lot of options, the temptation to the tenacity to be able to refute the temptation is very difficult. And especially in your younger years, you guys don't know how to navigate that. And by doing so, you hurt a lot of women.
And when he said that, I look back at, the few women I've dated over the last several years, and I said, wow, shut up.
I think you need to switch that.
I-
There's several women you dated over a few years.
I said, wow, I think he has a very good point, because I have been rather cutthroat with it, like, okay, I'm done with this one, I'm out of here. But when I got maybe 30 years old, that's when I started really changing up how I changed or how I transitioned from the relationship. Now I'm more open, I'm more communicative, and said, hey, this is what I thought, this is how I feel. How do you feel? This is what I think we should do next. Whether that's end of the relationship or trying to find a way to work it out. So
Okay.
yeah.
So
That's cool.
I've gotten
So,
better.
what is one thing that you guys moving forward? Because even though you're celibate, Trent, you still date.
Yeah, and
So how do you date in today's world and remain celibate and true to yourself?
it's all about the language. It's all about the communication.
Right.
If I know it's not going to lead to sex, don't be given the persona or the I'm gonna say the conversation like it's gonna lead to that, because sex just don't happen. You talk
don't.
it, you text it, you say little slide things to get your temperature rising. So you change the narrative to go a little deeper in conversation versus talking about what I'm gonna do to you when I get you by myself.
So my question to you is, how do the women respond to that? Because women, nowadays they're kind of aggressive.
I think that because you do have two types of women who respect it,
Yeah.
and women who trying to check you off the list, like I got him to renege on a vibe.
And me personally, I was just, you're still human. That's why my question to you was, how do you go about it? Like,
cold showers.
okay, so listen, I wasn't knocking you. I was just
Cold
like, what are
showers.
you doing to
'Cause,
stay celibate?
I'm just saying, even and I was telling y'all that.
Well, cold showers, what does it do?
It calms you down, cools you off, and then I
okay.
work. So doing things that I should be doing while I'm thinking about sex, I go ahead and do that. And by the time
okay.
I finish that, I'm too tired to even
Yeah,
text
yeah.
somebody to do that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's all about your schedule. Think about how much time we lose either just texting, Facebook, DMing.
Oh, yeah.
And that time could be used to developing an LOC.
Absolutely.
That time could be used to learning something new that you never learned before.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I take that time to read. There's things, Chaz, that you've told me. I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Right.
But I take that time to go
Yeah.
Google it.
How do you
So,
stay motivated?
I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy.
No,
And
how do you stay motivated to focus on your celibacy? Because what happens when you meet that one that you absolutely know this
if
is
she's
it?
the one, she understands.
No.
my journey.
I'm not saying they don't understand,
Yeah.
but how do you fight the temptation to move that connection
Because I
forward
want
a
you
little bit
to.
more?
My motivation is I want you at that altar, not just for
Good.
that night.
Y'all hear this? Hold
is
up
such a
now.
Prince Charming.
Wait a second.
So that's the motivation. If you're the one, and I feel like you're the one, that's more motivation for me to keep my hands off of you to a certain degree. Now,
Okay, I'm gonna just tell y'all, ladies, I think he's being a little authentic. So
I am.
y'all
know
I didn't
me.
believe it at first, but after I heard DeVon and Meagan, I'm gonna be more open minded to it.
Now Jermaine is. We ain't gonna say nothing.
Anyways,
about Jermaine,
y'all gonna leave my
wherever
husband
he's
out of
at.
this. Anyway,
Nasty.
all right. So Jazz,
Yeah.
what is something you said that you're gonna start? It encouraged you to maybe take on a oath of celibacy.
Yeah. And this is me being very honest. I had thought about it for quite some time, and I actually had went 8 months celibacy when I was about 26, and I felt like, and this is kind of giving my whole story. I kind of felt like I was just kind of, I don't know other word besides sexed out. It was just like routine. It was like I thought there was nothing there besides just the interaction. I felt like I was just pouring so much out of it, and I felt like I had so much in me. And so now I'm at this point now where I'm a little older. I'm well more established. I am looking to get married and settle down. And so I'm at this point now where I feel like this continuous rotation of her here in this state in this country is just, I want to just stop and just focus on my temple and myself. That's where I can be more, I guess, attentive to. I'm sure I missed my wife a couple times.
Oh, you probably messed that up a whole bunch of times.
I'm sure I have. Just because I had so many options, I was like, well, she cool, but she don't do this. And so what I want to leave you guys with is that the grass is green on the other side. It's just the brown spots are in different areas. And so that's what I've come to learn over this time. So hearing that from DeVon, I see I really need to probably practice celibacy and just focus on myself, my business, my family, and then find that plus one and really focus on her and kind of go from there.
Okay.
So it's going to be tough. So I may have to take up this cold shower that he's talking about.
Because you already work hard. So it's kind of hard for you. It's like, you don't really waste a lot of time anyway.
I don't.
Two through. Okay, so one thing I think the message that DeVon and Meagan was speaking about is I think it really speaks to young women these days. Like, I remember growing up, like, they shamed you if you were still, like, a virgin.
Yeah.
And I think that, and even it's probably still going on to this day, but I want little girls and young women to understand that your virginity is your power. And when you give that away, like, you lose a little bit of yourself every time. So I just want you guys to understand that no one can make that decision for you. But when you guard and hold your virginity and yourself as value, it's going to force others to look at you that way too. So don't let anyone pressure you or make you feel that you're less than because you are not putting out. Because I'm telling you,
open. You do not have to bust it.
Oh Lord, because I'm telling you, there is power in that.
It is,
and I want you to hold on to your power for as long as you can.
And I also want to add something as well. We love Jaquetta to death. We're not going to let off the hook. A lot of the viewers are also in relationships. You're also married. You have husbands and wives.
Yeah.
And with me and Trent being single and Jaquetta being married, why don't you give your take on what you took from DeVon and Meagan as far as making your marriage better?
Well, one thing that I took from them, and they said that, I think the pastor asked, like, how do you still keep it fresh in the industry, and you know, you guys go without seeing each other for months on end. So how do you still keep it like that? And one thing Meagan said that still rings true to me, because it's very conducive to our lifestyle, because my husband and I are still both active duty military, and there's times where we don't see each other for months or weeks. And I think it's really important to remember that, like, I love him and he loves me, and if I have to, you know, go on and do something strange for a piece of change for him every once in a while, I'm sorry, Mama. I'm sorry, Mama.
Are we gonna edit that?
No, we're not.
And then that's what I have to do to keep it fresh. But I mean, like, I tell my husband all the time, and I think this is important, you never stop putting in work.
Yeah.
You are constantly working towards becoming better for each other. And I mean, we've been together almost 12 years. We've been married for 7. Wow. And I'm telling you that there's going to be times where, you know, it gets a little tough, and went to bed mad plenty a day, but we consistently have communication, and that we still keep it spicy. Like, you still got to be interesting, ladies. You know what I mean? It's important. And I tell him, the same things you did to get me, you need to continue that, because I still need, you know, my attention still needs to be kept as well.
But I want to say something to caveat what you said prior to the little girls. My little brothers, it's okay. You ain't got to be out here to prove that you're a man because you slept with 30 women.
Right. That's nasty. I'm just going to let you know right now.
A man. Because I think too many times the women need to know that as well as our
the young men definitely.
Because
exactly.
STDs are real.
Absolutely.
And if you don't,
yes, they are. I'm so scared of them.
Parents need to have this conversation with their children as well. We understand that we're human. So if you make the mistake and you do, or not the mistake, or you make the choice to lay with someone, not to shame them, but educate them. But then if you make the decision to keep yourself, that's a decision a man can make and a woman can make.
Exactly.
And there's no shame in doing that, because I think we just give a different perspective when it's a little girl.
Yeah, they give guys, they like men high five their sons at 12 and 13 thinking that's okay. It's not. It's, you know, I have a son, and I'm telling you, your body is your temple too. And I don't want you giving yourself away to anybody just because you feel like it's the thing to do. And you're obligated.
Guys are pressured as well. You get with your homeboys, and you know what I'm saying? You smash what's the name? Yeah, I smash what's the name, you know.
And they be,
Oh, that's
and
how
they,
y'all
and they be
do it?
lying.
And they be lying. You know, in middle school, that's what you used to do. Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
I
you
smashed the
know.
neighbor last week. You know,
Oh,
I don't even know what
Lord.
smash means. Smash taters. But
I had good
y'all
friends
gotta
growing
make
up,
sure
so
y'all,
I'm real
y'all make
blessed.
sure y'all go out there and follow us on
Yes.
YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Like us
And
on
Like,
again,
comment, share.
listen, you guys missed a wonderful event. I cannot thank DeVon and Meagan for coming through
And
and
the Arts
enlightening
Council.
us and educating us and just sharing their story. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a journey. And, you know, everyone walks it a little bit differently. But at the end of the day, the result is that, you know, we all want to be met
We
at
want
the
to be what I
gates.
want. Yeah,
And we want to be with somebody and love each other and someone to love us.
And somebody loves you back. That's Teddy.
Oh,
That's Teddy
Lord.
Pendergrass for y'all.
Everyone wants to be loved. So be true to yourself.
Yes.
Stay true to your moral values
See
and
y'all
your
later.
characteristics. And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, it's always worth the wait.
Yeah.
I had to kiss one terrible frog, but I got my prince and my king, and it was well
He was
worth
the
it.
frog prince, but we're not going to talk
I'm
about
done.
that.
What
Listen.
you're not going to do is talk about my husband.
Hey, so to close us out, you know what we do at the end of every show. Did you lead us off with a quote?
Yeah, we got to let's kick it off with a
So
quote.
Deep.
We're so deep.
Go on, say yours, because I don't have one.
Let me tell. Okay. See, I didn't even look one up today. I'm messing
See what
up.
I'm
Dang. Okay, so no one can take your joy.
That's horrible.
It
That
was really
horrible.
bad.
See, I told him that was horrible.
I
told him about trying to
Don't
be
let no
deep.
one steal your joy.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Don't let
That's
anyone steal
and
your
I'ma
joy. That's
caveat,
what I was trying to
I'ma
say,
build
y'all.
off that.
I apologize.
No one can make you feel inferior without your permission. Eleanor Roosevelt said that, you know. Eleanor Roosevelt.
All right.
See,
what do
in
you
your
got?
face.
What
In
do
your face.
In my
Well,
face.
I wore mine today, and this is what I do every day, and you guys probably do it too. It's called grind, and that means to perform repetitive actions over and over in order to obtain a goal. So I hope you guys get your goals out there.
All right, y'all.
Grind.
Make sure y'all like us,
And-
subscribe to us.
Comment, share.
We're Big Perspective.
Hey,
All right.
we out.
Until next time, it's all love.
All right, Law.